All right. Good job, guys. All right. So welcome to the August 19th meeting of the NCAC. As a reminder, this meeting is being broadcast to the town's YouTube channel and also via Zoom. And is it also being broadcast to the Needham channel? It is not being broadcast to the Needham channel, so no worries about that. And is being recorded for publication, later viewing, and administrative purposes. Okay. And if any attendees have notified the chair in advance that they intend to record the meeting, the chair should also mention those additional recordings. Anyone recording? No? No funny business? Okay, we're all set. Okay, so I am going to assume that we did roll call. I'm assuming that everybody had a chance to take a peek at the minutes from the last meeting. Did anyone have any additions, corrections, commentary? Nope. Okay. So if someone wants to make a motion to approve those minutes. Okay.
Second.
Okay, so the minutes are adopted.
Wait, all in favor?
Oh, I'm sorry. All in favor? Okay. Unanimous. All right. Fantastic. The minutes are adopted. All right. First time bidders, guys. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
All right, so welcome everybody to the first meeting of the NCAC. We are a collaborative and a creative group, and our main role is to serve as a resource and an advocate for arts and culture to our community. I truly appreciate your commitment and dedication to fostering and furthering.
Sorry, guys. Is anyone else having trouble hearing? I'm not hearing.
It's not you. I'm having a lot of, it's very bad.
I can't make out what you, we sounded more clear before. I can't make out anything that's being said right now. And also it's not on the, like when you go to the speaker page, if you want to switch from gallery to speaker, it's not, it's just taking me to the Needham logo. So I think something got switched at some point and then the sound changed too.
I'll see you later.
Will it help if Abby sits there?
Would it be helpful if I sit here? Can you hear me better here?
I can hear you better now.
Yes, for sure.
Okay. Give me 30 seconds to bring a chair over and we'll be in business.
Okay.
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 It's just going to be hard to hear anybody else speaking.
We'll talk loudly.
At this computer.
No, the
Yes,
speaker.
That speaker's usually a little better at picking up, but.
All right. So as I was saying, I truly appreciate your commitment and dedication furthering the arts and culture in this community. And in this era of deprioritizing the arts, it's really crucial what we're doing here. And I really think it's wonderful that there's so much support and enthusiasm, not only from you, but from our town, which has granted us a very nice allocation this year that we can spend for grants and for other things which we will talk about later. People want to see a lot more from us and we will give it to them. So let's hear a little bit more from you and what brought you to the council. We can introduce ourselves. Why don't we go around and say our names and talk a little bit about what drew you to the NCAC. And why don't you also mention one small thing that gives you joy every day just for fun? Tough question. Okay, why don't we start with Joni since she looks pensive.
I'm thinking. My hand is hurting right now. It's giving me joy when it doesn't hurt. I came to the council. This is my 6th and last year. Because I love art, because I wanted to see more art in the community, especially during the pandemic, which is when I started, right at the beginning of the pandemic. I still love art. I'm sad to have to leave at the end of the year, but that's the rules of the MCC, so I will be off. I don't know, everything gives me joy. I just try to wake up, and my dad used to say, I would call him and say, how was your day? And he said, today was a good day. I didn't wake up dead. And that's kind of the way, you know, today is a good day. I had my 3 grandchildren for most of the day today. And though they're rough and tumble little boys, they are, and they didn't break a window, so we're in good shape.
Wendy, you want to go next?
Hi, I'm Wendy Siegel. This is my 4th year on the council. And I came to the council because a friend of mine was leading the council at the time, Charlie. And I didn't even know about it, honestly. I've lived here 20 years. So when I found out about it, I said, oh my gosh, I went to art school. I have a little studio in my house. I love art. I see art in everything I look at when I walk down the street or when I go to a store, look in nature. And I just needed to be part of it and help others to see art in things that they encounter as well. As far as something giving me joy, I'm just thankful every day that I'm here and healthy, so kind of, and have wonderful people in my life.
I am Jean Klugman, and this is my 2nd year on the council, and I joined for a bunch of reasons. One being that I have always been very actively involved in the arts. I've been on theater committees and I've been on arts councils before for Brookline and for the Calm of Mass, and I always loved being involved in the arts, even though I have absolutely no skills whatsoever, but I like promoting the arts, and I thought Needham has a lot of really talented people. And I wanted to get to know the community. I've only been here for about 4 years, so I thought this would be a good entree to do it. And it has been really fun and interesting and learning a lot. So that's been great. My joy comes every day at the barn. I have a horse and I teach riding and I'm a fanatic. So that's my big thing. I could get global and talk about family and stuff, but really it's the horses that do it.
Who needs people? We have horses.
My name is Tracy Lynn. So I actually come from the event directing side of things. I think one of the cultural events that I managed before is the AAPI month event. Was one of the first grantees of the council, I believe. I hope that was the case. And so I always was very involved in the cultural diversity promotion, not just with Asian American culture, but I got to work together with the Indian Association. I got to know Japanese artists, Korean artists. So I will continue my passion in promoting cultural diversity and arts. The one thing that gives me joy, I play a lot of tennis, because I have one 7-year-old, one 11-year-old. I need anger control every day. So that's like the real reason. It helps me, yeah.
Best line of the night.
Yeah.
I'm Sean Larson, my first meeting, my very first day, and I'm very excited to be here. I came here because my father-in-law, kind of like my dad, was Bob Larson, and he was an artist in Needham who was very well known, very well loved. We just lost him at 95, and he was
I read
still
about that.
carrying around a bag of art that he had created and giving it out to anybody that said anything about anything that he had ever created. And so I'm continuing his legacy and just living near him. We live on Broadmeadow and he was on Tudor. You know, we were very, very close to him and watched all the things that he did for Needham, with Needhamites, in enriching the whole community with his love of art and service to the country, to the community, to the country and the community. And my joy, in addition to my family, which, you know, is a given, is books. I just read. I'm in book clubs and I read as much as I possibly can to try to cope with everything else that's going on in this country.
Me too.
Read, yeah.
Hi, I'm Sheila Selby. I'm new to the council. I'm new to Needham.
Welcome to both.
Thank you. I moved to Needham in January, all the way from Brookline.
Oh. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I saw an ad, I don't remember, or a promotion. It was either in the Brookline, Needham News, I have to stop, remember that, in the Needham News or the weekly Needham newsletter, that the council is looking for
Right.
members. And I said, oh, that's perfect. That's a great way to get involved with the community. And I can bring my skills to the council. Personally, I paint watercolor just as an avocation. I love all kinds of crafts. I was on the board years ago of the Copley Society of Art. I don't know if anybody knows about that, but I was on the board. I was treasurer for a few years. So that was my art, my visual arts involvement. And then until a couple of years ago, I was the vice president of the Boston Bluegrass Union, which promotes bluegrass music throughout the New England area. I have not a musical bone in my body, but I love bluegrass music, and we produce a bluegrass festival. It's been on hiatus because of COVID, but it's coming back in February at the Sheridan in Framingham. And it's an absolutely fabulous thing. So I'm gonna get everybody.
We'll have to get some.
Yeah. But again, I've been involved in both visual and the performing arts from a management kind of point of view. And I wanted to bring that, hoping to bring that expertise to the council and to Needham. And here I am. Oh, and my joy, color. I love colorful things.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm Winnie Jo. I lived in Needham since 2012. I've been living here for 13 years. The reason that got me to the CAC was I recently joined the Charles River Chamber, and then the newsletter has a lot of local news and resources. I just stumbled upon our town website and discovered a ton of resources that I didn't know of before. So I went to one of the council meetings earlier in the summer. I was very impressed with what the council was doing, and learned that the council was looking for new members. So I applied, and luckily I was approved, so here I am. My joy is I have a vegetable garden in my backyard, so rather than some of the big mentions, I still have a big lot, a little house. Picking the vegetables in my garden just reminds me how lovely life is. Yeah, and I'm hoping to bring more performing arts into our town. Over the past 10 years, I've noticed big changes. Our town is getting better and better. I'm hoping there will be more cultural events, dance and music, especially in our town, to make our lives happier, improve the quality of life.
Thank you, Winley. Good to see. I met Winley at an event at the end of last year. It was nice to get to know you a little bit and chat a little bit about your garden. My name's Shona Standard. This is my second year now on the council. I started last year, and I have a similar background as Wendy. I have a fine art degree. I like making art, talking about art, looking at art. And then I got involved with the Needham Community Theater here in town. It was the first time that I was really participating in a community of organized in a way. I was helping with the set design and painting, and I just love the joy that group brought to and still brings to the community. And then when I found out through Wendy and Charlie and Heather about the council, it just really kind of sparked an interest in participating in a community way to bring more art to the community. So I've loved it. And my daily joy is walking my dog, who is 11 and still acts like a puppy, and it reminds me to live in the moment and not all the moments in my head.
Yeah.
Why don't I'm not deflecting, I want to kick it up there to the awesome people on Zoom, and then I will answer the question as well. So Heather, you are first in line.
Hey, this is my last year also, going in my sixth year of being on the Art Council, and I initially joined as a way to meet other people with similar interests. And also I am a practicing artist, and I don't think there's one single thing that brings me joy. Probably if I had to choose, I'd say, well, the obvious, which is making artwork, which is also can be a great frustration. And also gardening, which has been mentioned already. For me, it's not just like, wow, it's both like, oh, you can grow something and then have this thing that you can eat, but it's also sort of, even at my age, just being able to be amazed by putting a seed in the ground and all of a sudden you have, you know, too many cucumbers in your yard. But just that. And then the latest thing that brings me a lot of joy is swimming. Thank you, Shona, for that. So, yeah, so that's it. I hope you heard me okay.
Oh,
You
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And just tell me what we're doing.
Then Steve, you're next.
Okay, hi, everyone. My name is Steve, and this is my third year. I got involved because I feel very strongly about trying to bring arts into the community and public art. And I've lived in Needham a long time, and hopefully to make it sort of more visually and enjoyable experience. I've worked as an art director and as a newspaper designer over the years, and I've done a lot of photography for my own personal enjoyment. A lot of things make me happy. And I'd say right now, I also walk my dog. I have a very big old dog that I enjoy every day. I also have a 4-year-old granddaughter that brings me the most joy, and I'm not biased, but she's great. Yes. And I drink the Kool-Aid. I started playing pickleball.
Oh,
Oh,
3 days a
yeah.
week. And I enjoy that. And it's just a great group of people to work with. And I feel like it's something in town for the common good to be involved with something like this and to really help the town. And the artists, very strong believer in supporting the artists, especially nowadays with all the budget cuts and the issues going on. That's it.
Kavita, you're next.
Sure. Hello there, I'm Kavita, and this is my 4th year on the council. So originally I joined the council because I wanted to get involved in the community, and I wanted to do something that was completely opposite of my work. I work in IT, and I didn't want anything associated with the STEM area of volunteering there. And also I have my kids that are very involved in the performing arts. So a couple of things that bring me joy is watching my kids perform and my plants. You can see some in the background here. And I'm looking forward to working with everyone this year. Thank you.
Great. There is, I can't see anyone
Christine,
else.
is Christine there?
Is Christine online?
There's this.
Christine was online. But they don't appear to be at this point in time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to kick it over to Rana. Rana, we're just introducing ourselves, saying what drew us to the council and something that gives us joy every day.
I'm Rana Perlmutter. I live in North Hill where all the old people are. And I love art and I play around in it a lot. And it's a great group because it sponsors art and culture in the community and provides services that would not otherwise happen. And what do I enjoy? I enjoy life. I enjoy art. I'm 90. And fabulous.
And we've seen some of Rana's work and it's.
Pardon?
Yeah,
We've seen some of
Yeah,
your
you're
work
really
and
good.
It's outstanding.
If you have time after the meeting, ask Rana to show you. She just did a portrait of one of the people who live in North Hill, and it's pretty phenomenal. Yeah, it's pretty great.
You have to show.
So show off time. Okay. I'm Abby. Hello.
Hello.
I've been on the council 3 years. This is my 3rd year. I have a degree in archaeology and art history, and I am a photographer by trade. And I wanted to join the council because I wanted to promote public art. Because I wanted to foster a sense of community and camaraderie through the arts and performing arts also, not just visual arts in the town. And also meet people, like Heather said, meet like-minded people, meet people who were interested in similar things. So, which I've definitely found here, which is wonderful. You guys are great. So something that gives me joy. I am a cook. I cook everything, Thai food, Indian food, Japanese food, Korean food, you name it. So I do that. And sometimes my kids get involved in it, and it's pretty interesting and messy when that happens. They're old enough to know better. They're teenagers. So
Yeah.
probably why it's so messy. Okay. And then Miles, you didn't go.
Hi, I'm Miles Tucker. I'm a full-time staff member here at the town of Needham. I work for the office of the town manager. I am subbing in while we are recruiting an economic development manager or the staff member who will full-time replace me as the permanent staff liaison. I'm happy to be here with y'all today. It's my first NCAC meeting that I've attended in full. So I'm very grateful for everything you all do, and I'm excited to get to serve with you. So
Great. Okay, so one quick thing before we do the treasurer update. I just want to give a quick overview of 2 terms. This is probably review for most of you. If it's not, then this is good information to have. Kavita is going to use 2 terms over and over again that you're going to hear a million times. One is unencumbered funds and the other is encumbered funds. These are terms you must know. You have to know what they are, because it basically, Wenley is the treasurer, you've done financials, you know all this stuff already, but for those of us who don't, it's good to know. Unencumbered funds are funds that we have available to roll over to other grants. They're funds that were approved for a project that either never took place or a project that came in under budget. So each August, the amazing Kavita will review our financial records, and she's going to see if there are unencumbered funds that we have available to roll over into other grants going forward. So that's what that is. Encumbered funds is money that has been granted to projects, but not yet reimbursed. So we work on a reimbursement system. Basically, we promise X dollars in grant money to a project, the project happens, and then the project submits paperwork to us, and we process the grant and distribute the funds accordingly. The process funds are then encumbered, and that means they're available to be reimbursed for 12 months following the date that the grantees are notified that their grant has been approved. Let me know if I'm talking too fast. Does everyone get all that? Okay, awesome. So we send all the approval letters out at the same time, so that way all the encumbered funds have the same expiration date. So that's basically what those 2 terms are. So now, Kavita, hit it.
Hang on a second. We have to approve the minutes. Did we do that?
Did I miss all that? Yeah, we did all that already.
Sorry, I didn't hear it. I must have missed it when, I don't know.
So we're on, we did the welcome roll call approval of past minutes, and we welcome the new members, and then now we're.
I think that's when it was sounding grainy, and but I approved them anyway. I couldn't hear at that point. Okay.
All right, so 4 updates today, right? So for the past year, which was 2024 and 25, we had town funding that we received was $15,284, and MCC funding of $9,400. The town funding expired on June 30th of this year, and the MCC funds is going to expire on the 31st of this year. So far, like at this point, for whatever has been reimbursed, we have we reimbursed $15,565 in the 19 grants that were reimbursed so this year. However, I'm going to confirm the exact encumbered amount upon the meeting with the town accountant, which is going to be sometime in second half of September this year. Also, I received an update from Abby that for next year, MCC has granted us the same amount, which is $9,400, expiring in 2026. So that was fast. That was very quick. Does anyone have any questions that I can answer?
Does everyone know what MCC is when Kavita says MCC?
Yeah, Mass Cultural Council.
Massachusetts Cultural Council. It's basically our
Oh.
parent organization. They're the ones that provide the state funding that we use. So we have two sources of funding. We have the MCC that provides the state funding that we receive. That's the $9,400. And then there's the town of Needham that provides the other source of funding. And from them, I received confirmation from Miles that we're gonna receive $18,300.
The same as last year.
Which is the same as we received last year, but it's a nice, healthy allocation, so.
And is Kavita gonna do the grants update because she has that
Yep,
information?
that's
Okay.
next.
I have a question.
Yep, of course.
Will we be getting monthly treasurer's reports to look at?
Yeah, their hand,
I think that would be really great. So,
didn't see
Kavita typically sends it just to me and to Miles and to Rana because she's the secretary.
Right.
I can forward that to all of you. So I'm gonna write that down on my notes.
she gives a report at every meeting.
She does, but she
Right, but
reads it
it's
really
easier
quick.
to me to look
Yeah.
at the
Okay.
numbers and
It's
just
nice to
compare
have
them.
the friends.
Okay.
Yep, I will put that in my notes and
Thank you.
I'll make sure that goes out every month.
Thank you.
Yep,
Good suggestion.
no problem. Okay, great.
The
Okay,
grants update.
so the next item on our list is the grants update. There's one program which is from last year, the Ruth Harkovitz program, The Sound of Music at the Center for the Heights, did not properly acknowledge the support of the NCAC or the MCC, the Mass Cultural Council, with a credit line. That's something that is required when submitting reimbursement paperwork. We need to see that actually happened in their publicity materials. It's a state requirement for reimbursement.
Right.
So what happened here is that the Center for the Heights likely did the publicity for them and wasn't necessarily aware of that requirement. So it's not really their fault, but it's a technicality, but it doesn't technically meet the terms of the grant. So I just wanted to present it to everyone and make sure everyone is okay with this before we present it to Kavita to process the reimbursement.
Yes.
So what
So
is this?
if I can just talk for a second. So what happened, just because this should get clarified later on down the line, is what happened was that Ruth sent the information into the people at the Center at the Heights, and she said that she did include the logos, but when they printed up the catalog of events, they just did a blurb for each event that was happening, but there was nothing promotional happening. So I think I mean, I think it was pretty clear that it needed to be there, but I guess she just didn't realize. So I think in the future, we have to make it very clear to the people at the Center of the Heights too, to remind them of that.
Right.
And maybe somebody could contact the main person there. I'm happy to do it, to let
Aisha
them know that.
Kelly.
But I also
Yeah.
I do feel sort of like this person should have known that, but because it's spelled out pretty clearly, but it just wasn't on their radar, although she tried to do it. So she did make the effort. Typically there's some other, and I think often it seems like from what I can gather, that a lot of the events that take place at the Center of the Heights, at CAF happen, that most of the promotional stuff is done through them. So I think probably ultimately they need a big reminder, like, you need to publicize where some of this, who's funding this event for you guys, so.
As long as the state is fine with this oversight, then I think we should fund it. She's been, quote, reprimanded and told that in the future that has to be done.
Right.
And if somebody speaks to the person at the Center at the Heights, then I think we can go forward and just.
How do we
look-
document it for the state? That's the only thing that I would be concerned about,
You want me to call tomorrow?
or I can call tomorrow.
You've got enough on your plate, I'll do it. I have nothing going on tomorrow. And besides, I'm getting to know them very well.
Can I make a comment? Should we have somebody on the committee proof things?
We can't prove other organizations.
Because that would have
Yeah.
been picked up. If
We
somebody-
can't, what other organizations? Sorry, I couldn't
Can't,
hear.
can't proofread other organizations' materials. That's we can't do that. There are too many.
Yeah, that would not be good. It's just, it's up to the grantee to take
Yeah.
care of that.
The grantee is supposed to be responsible for that, and it looks like she was, and the Center at the Heights has this, I'm sure you've all seen it, there's this little blurb for each thing, and they don't do anything else. So I'm sure they just made a decision, not realizing the importance of it, to just leave it off, because they leave off everything that's not a just short little blurb because of printing
So
costs and
let them
space.
know that they need to recognize.
We have to let them know, and Heather said she'd call, and I think.
How
it's
do we
fine.
find that this happened? If we're not proofing it, how did we? come to
Because they
light?
sent in their materials for their
Right.
grant, to get reimbursed, they have to
That's-
send all their
To show
materials
the
and.
public their, publicity materials.
Right,
when they
in
send
the
it for
packet that
paperwork.
they send in to get reimbursed, it wasn't there.
I have a question, cause I haven't seen the grant package so far. Is there, cause some of us are visual, especially for someone new doing this for the first time, or maybe it's only occurs once a year, someone forget after like a 1 year hiatus. Would it be helpful for us to include like a sample recommended?
They have that.
They have all of that, they know, they
that
have
just didn't
everything.
Follow.
Yeah, it was a miscommunication probably between the artist and the CAF. And the CAF takes all this material, they write it all up, and they saw that they were there on the material, but they decided it's too much space. So they just did their little blurb and
I think
left off.
I think from now on, just gotta make it clear, like,
Yeah, we have to make.
that, I mean, it's pretty clear that they have to do it, and usually probably people have more things on social media thanking. And it sounds like this person does not have, from my communication with her, it didn't sound like they had anything like that, that they were relying solely on CAF to do it. So, I think we have to just stress that with CAF, and then also stress, maybe I don't know, this has never happened before, so.
Right.
So I think usually it's not a problem, but I think we should probably vote just to see if you want to give her the okay despite that. Or if you don't want to give her the okay. So, and then, yeah, and then I'll talk to the
So
Senate.
ask-
Heights.
Abby,
Hold on one second, Jean has a
Just
question.
comment, and I'm sure, I don't know what the dollars are that we're talking about, and I'm sure that it's.
It's not significant,
I'm
it's
sure
like
it's fine.
$250, yeah.
We do an awful lot at the CAF. And I think
Yes.
it's really interesting that they didn't put us in the material, given how many things we do to support them. And my one time going through all the grants, a lot of things we did at the CAF.
Actually, I calculated it was 22% of our.
Yeah,
Wow.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Really a shame that they aren't just automatically knowing that they need to do that. We support them. I think that's really a big oversight on their part.
Totally agree.
Yeah, is.
CAP, it's the center.
Center at the Heights.
But I don't wanna be punitive to this grantee because the center, that
Right.
CAF didn't follow through,
So.
so.
Be
But I
asked
think
to
it's
vote.
very unfortunate that the CAF isn't more diligent.
Well, we have to make sure that they are going forward.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna propose two things. Number one, that I will follow up with the CAF and make sure that they are aware that this is a requirement for any program that we sponsor. through them. And so I will follow up with a Kath. Sorry, I'm just writing myself a note. And I think we should also take a vote at this time, and just to make sure that all of you are okay with us processing the grant for this particular grantee who was not otherwise associated with the CAP, other than the fact that that was her venue for her event.
Absolutely.
So,
Yes,
okay,
all
so
approved.
all in favor?
I will note, just as a technicality.
Yep.
And we've been informing other committees, since we are on Zoom, the votes do have to be roll call,
Oh, they do have to be roll call. No
only if
kidding.
we're on Zoom.
Only if we're on Zoom. Got it. Okay.
Call them.
No, it has to be.
All right.
Want to make sure.
Tomorrow.
So. All right. Vote for Ruth Harkavitz. All right, so Abby is yes. Kavita, what's your vote? Yes, okay. Steve, your vote?
Yes.
Okay, mine is not here. Jean?
Yes.
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 Okay. Sean?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Tracy?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Christine's not here. Rana?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Joni?
Yes.
Yes. Wendy?
Yes.
Sheila?
I,
Okay. Heather?
Yes.
Okay. Shona?
Yeah.
Miles, I'm sorry. Wenley?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so great. So we'll go ahead.
Okay.
Kavita, you can go ahead and process that then.
Yeah.
Rana, if you just mark that it was a unanimous vote in favor. And okay, we'll move on to the next thing. We have a lot of ground we have to cover. I know, Shona, you have to leave at 8. We started
Yeah.
very, very late because of technical trouble, so we will be going over 8 o'clock tonight, not normally, but go ahead, Wendy. I'm
Can I
sorry.
just ask you if you could tell us what positions people are doing?
Positions people are
Like,
doing.
she's the
Officer?
secretary.
Oh, you guys aren't aware. Okay, sorry. I'm the chair. And Rana is our secretary.
Scribe.
Scribe.
And Kavita is our treasurer. So.
Okay.
Okay. So that means Rana is taking our note. Kavita is in charge of our money. And I deal with all the fires. Okay,
Abby?
Yeah.
I think, given the time, I think you might want to, switch around a little bit, go to the, priorities and guidelines. And because Shona has to, who has to leave? Shona has to leave at 8. And we could use her here for that.
Okay, my only question is, we can't do priorities and guidelines in less than 10 minutes.
I know,
That's-
but at least we can start it, and she can be part of the conversation for that.
Is it any different from last year?
It may
Well-
not be, but I think there are additions, right, Heather?
Well,
think
I did
it's-
not add anything to it. What were you thinking?
I don't remember. I know there was something. Hold
So
on.
hold on one second. Sorry.
But
So what I'm going to.
the only
propose-
difference would be the amount, but I think the amount is the
The amount
same.
is the same as last year.
The amount is the same as last year. So what I'm gonna propose is, I feel like the people who are new, what we really need to do is understand the grant process before we can really make
Yes.
our priorities and guidelines.
Yes.
I feel like it's guided by the grant cycle, and if we don't have a solid understanding of the grant cycle, then we really can't make priorities and guidelines in a cogent way. So I think we can very briefly talk about the guideline, the grant cycle. If people have any further questions, we can go from there, but I feel like that's crucial information.
What is the amount from last year?
So, Kavita just went over it, but, the Massachusetts Cultural Council will be giving us $9,400, and the, town of Needham will be giving us $18,300. What's that?
10,000?
18,300.
300.
Yeah. Okay, so is everyone okay with starting with the grant cycle?
Yes.
Briefly? Okay, great. So it'll be a review for old hands, but I just feel like it's really important. So, since we were just talking about money, every year the NCAC receives a certain amount of money from both the state, which is the Massachusetts Cultural Council, and the town, which is approved by town meeting, to be distributed through grants, through us. It's a huge part of what we do, so that's why it's really important that we have a good understanding of what it is, and it's gonna take up a lot of our time and energy until December. So there's a few important dates to note. The application for grants is gonna open September 2nd. The deadline for submitting applications is October 16th. So if you come across any artists who are interested in submitting grants during that time, it's important to talk it up. We need to let the Massachusetts Cultural Council know our final decisions by January 16th. If you look at the first handout here with the meeting schedule, all of those important dates are listed for you at the bottom. So you have those, you can stick it on your fridge. If you're old school like me, you'll have those available to you. The second handout here that looks like this flow chart is a very, very, very brief description of how the grant process works. I will go through it with you, but this is like, just in case you forget what everything I said, this is a brief cheat sheet of how the grant process works. So, basically grant applicants find out about our grants, through word of mouth, our publicity blasts, and the MCC. And then we will use a combination of state criteria and local guidelines and priorities, which is the thing we're going to work on in a few minutes, in order to evaluate and assess the grant proposals. So eligibility for these grants is not always obvious. Most people are eligible for grants. There's a whole bunch of different categories of people who are eligible for grants, but it's not always obvious. It can include really distinct entities such as religious groups, and public schools, and even municipal bodies. So for instance, we see a grant application almost every year from Kolenu, which Joni knows a lot about. She used to sing with them. It's a Jewish choral group. It's totally kosher, as long as what they're doing isn't inherently religious, like enhancing a prayer service, that would not be something we could give money to. But if they're just putting on a concert, that is totally fine.
It's a cultural organization. It's not a religious organization.
Exactly. So, we've also seen grant requests from things like Needham Public Schools. That is also totally fine. We once had one for a model United Nations team at Needham High to do research, about, I believe, some kind of, it was like some kind of anthropological thing. But it technically met their requirements for the state review criteria, and that's totally fine. So that's the first state requirement. The second requirement is to be of public benefit. So for instance, someone can't walk in here and say, I would like to make a book, and it's going to be something that I'm going to make money off of, and it's really for my benefit. That's not something we can, you know, it may be beautiful art, but it's not something that we're going to be able to grant money.
It has to be public benefit for the residents of Needham.
Yes.
Primarily.
But I'm talking about the state criteria, not our criteria.
Data.
Yeah. So some good examples: readings, lectures, publicly available publications, artist workshops, public art performances, like Wendy was talking about, exhibitions, field trips. Those are all fine. Last thing, non-discriminatory. That's pretty self-explanatory. One thing locally we like to see, Joni is correct, we do like to see that it would benefit Needham. The other thing we like to see is that grant applicants come to us with a set date and venue for their application. That's something we talk about over and over again. So it's not something that's currently written into our priorities. I will be bringing it up later.
Yeah, that was actually one of the things that
you brought it, you're gonna bring up too? Okay, great. So this morning I emailed a few of you to set up your MCC account. Did it work?
Thank you.
Fantastic. All right, perfect. So you are all set up on Smart Simple. That is going to become very important. Is everyone else here should be all set up with Smart Simple. Okay. So after the close of grant applications in October, you're gonna log into that and you're gonna receive a huge panel book. It's going to be like 400 pages long. Don't get scared.
Don't print it.
No, do not print it. So usually it's like 35 or 40 grants. It's not actually as scary as it looks. And we'll also forward you a PDF just in case you have trouble. You're not expected to memorize everything in there, but we're gonna ask that you look through it and familiarize yourself with what's in there. Just so when people are talking about, oh, you know, this grant, that grant, you know what they're talking about.
One thing about the grants, they're in absolutely no order that is discernible by any human being whatsoever.
There's no logic.
There is no logic to how they go in there, and when you are asked to look for your grants, you'll go crazy looking for them.
There's no
But,
page numbers really.
There's no page numbers.
It's-
You just
it's
have to
really-
learn where the new grants start, and if you read through all of them, you'll learn quickly, this means it's a new grant.
Exactly.
But it's very interesting to read them all.
So it's a lot, it's actually a lot of fun. Grab a cup of tea and it's a fun afternoon. So, but you're going to be the point person for only like 2 or 3 of them. Don't worry, we'll send you a list and you'll be assigned
Right.
2 or 3 particular ones. That will be those will be your grants. And for those grants, you will send follow-up questions to the people who are the contacts.
If
you will-
necessary.
if you have questions. You will also bring your impressions to the group. If you, oh, I forgot to tell you, sorry, these are examples of LCC grants that are okay, sorry. Next. There's an example page here that says 2024 evaluation criteria. To take a look at that, that is an example of a rubric you will use to score each of your 2 or 3 grants. So you can see here, you're basing on score 1 through 5. It's pretty simple. The rubric is based on not only the state criteria, but also our council priorities, which we're going to finalize tonight. And it's pretty self-explanatory. So you'll go through and you'll score each of them and then bring your impressions to the group and we'll talk about it together. So we'll compare and contrast proposals. And then as a group, we'll vote on whether to approve each individual grant. So even with our nice allocation, we're definitely not gonna have enough to fund all of the grants in full. So at a second meeting, the first meeting is just whether or not we're going to approve each grant. At a second meeting, we're going to have a vote to decide how much to fund each particular grant that we have already chosen to approve as a group. So this meeting is gonna take a while, so expect snacks. And Kavita is gonna work a lot of magic with spreadsheets. And at the end, we're all gonna feel very accomplished and everything is going to tally out. So that's how that works. The one thing I should note is that, and this has come up before, the state really wants us to not, they really want minimum grants of $250 per application. There have been grant applications before for less than $250, and the state really disapproves of that. They really want to see at least $250. So just keep that in mind. So, Wendy, I'm gonna ask you to talk about something real quick. The council is, last year, Wendy came up with this really fabulous idea for every member of the council to attend each of the events that they were the point person for and get back to the group and report back with an evaluation of some sort. So I wanted Wendy to talk about that a little bit and why that was a benefit.
So I'm a corporate event planner, and I find it very important that we have a relationship with these grantees. In the past, there hasn't been a lot of that, but I'm finding over the past 3 years that they want us to be part of their performance. Once we give them money, we shouldn't just close the door. So once we get our own grants individually, we thought it would be great, and we started this last year, to go to your performances or take part in the demonstration or whatever it may be. And if you can't, you can ask somebody to go for you. But I went to mine last year and I took photos. I went early and introduced myself to the artists. They were thrilled that I was there. They just felt like, wow, they gave us money and they came and they really wanted us to get perform. So this is what we're doing. We did it last year. It was, it kind of worked better, but we need to firm up and just do it a little better this year.
You need to make that clear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
It's great also because we can go back on our notes and then say, hey, how did they do? Because we
yeah,
do
and
get a
then-
lot of
yeah, and then
repeat
reporting
applicants. Oh, go ahead,
back,
Wendy.
right.
Yeah.
And then we should, after each, every time we have a meeting, ask if anybody went to the performance or whatever, and they have a few minutes to explain it or show photos or whatever. Yeah, to the group.
So does anyone have a proposal of how we can make this an official part of our grant process? Because I think Wendy's right, we need to formalize this or it's not gonna happen.
We can't make it part of the grant process because the state doesn't require it.
That's not
But
what I
we
mean.
can-
What I mean is make it part of our, like, something that
What we
we do
do.
as a council.
Yeah, we
After each of.
make it understandable
Yeah.
that,
So maybe we come up with a form
yep,
that everybody gets. If I have 3 grants, I'm gonna have 3 forms. And I fill it out after and I bring it to the meeting, the next meeting, and review it. There are questions and
I think at the front end, it should be made clear that people who receive a grant will expect one of us to attend.
absolutely,
Whatever.
absolutely. When I get a grantee assigned to me and we offer them a grant, I write to them and say, congratulations, we're very excited to see your performance. They don't always have a date immediately. So you want to say, keep in touch with me, let me know when you find a venue or when you get the date. And
Right.
you have to just follow up. I mean, it's only a couple of people to do this with. It's not a lot of work.
right. And then they're not long performances or
Right.
events.
Right.
So.
I will say, however, it's not always possible. I think it's hard to make it absolutely mandatory. I don't know, from my viewpoint.
Mandatory.
Oh, I think it's
No.
And,
impossible though.
and the MCC suggests that you see the performances, but I don't believe it's a requirement, but it is
Not
a
as
suggestion on in their toolkit somewhere or on their website.
Please, I think one of the best things that I learned the most from was reading through the MCC, the whole website and clicking on all their links to other things. It's really well done.
So do you guys want to, do you want to, maybe this is something we continue next time?
Yeah.
So we can move along, just because I
Yeah.
know there's a lot to do and it's,
Why don't we, I think let's skip the Harvest Festival for now, move on to the priorities since that has a deadline associated with it.
I do also believe Christina's here.
Oh, great.
I've tried adding them as a panelist. Right now they're still in attendance.
All right, perfect. Does everyone have this handout? It says
Yeah.
priorities and objectives. All right, perfect. So I don't know if everyone had a chance to take a look at that before the meeting. But basically, we need to balance the needs of our community with our funding. And one of the things that I think that we need to talk about really, really briefly to guide our priorities and guidelines. I think they're really good as is, but there's probably a little bit of things that we could do to make them better, is talk about our annual survey. We do an annual survey every year for community input. It's something that the MCC asks that we do. And there was kind of a through line through most of the suggestions that people had. They really wanted community togetherness and public art. So the favorite grants that kept coming up over and over again this year were the Living History one, which took place on the town common with the Redcoats, which a lot of people attended together. There was the Multicultural Festival that came up many, many times. Needham Open Studios. I know Jean loves Needham Open Studios. Needham Community Theater came up again and again. The Art Outdoors and our murals kept coming up over and over again. So, and when we asked about priorities that people wanted the NCAC to have going forward, people said overwhelmingly more public events, such as outdoor concert series, street festivals, events that were multicultural and engaging with diversity and inclusion, and also public arts and murals. And then also they wanted us to prioritize making more venues available for visual arts and performance, and making those processes more streamlined to be able to use them. So I'm going to suggest, based on town put, adding one priority. I would be interested in hearing what you guys would think about adding as well. I'm going to suggest adding, in addition to the current statements that are already there, programs that support community connection and engagement with fellow community members. Just
With
because
what community members?
with fellow community members.
Can you explain that?
Yeah, basically, when I was going through the survey results, what I was seeing consistently was that people were looking for connection with other Needhamites, and they were looking for celebrations of community, and having an overwhelmingly familial and welcoming environment. They weren't necessarily looking to do things on an individual, like an intensely individual basis. So I think things, especially in this post-pandemic era, that would foster a sense of community and togetherness would be a positive thing.
I'm a little bit confused.
Okay.
I feel like
Um,
that one also, is it, because there's a line at the bottom that says submissions that are accessible and beneficial to the community of Needham. So maybe you just want to take that and reword it a little.
So beneficial to the community of Needham,
It's already
and
kind of there, but you're just saying you want to add the word connection.
it's support community connection, but I'm sorry, you had a question.
I did. I'm confused about I understand we get grant money that we give to individual organizations. But things like the murals, are those part of the grants?
Oh,
It's
that's
an artist.
Or
a
how?
great question. So those are actually separate from the grants.
Okay, right,
That's a great question.
Yeah,
So
they're not paid for as a grant.
right. So how money the MCC gives us is only for grants.
Mhm.
And the money that the town gives us is for
Mhm.
things like the murals and other non-grant.
We can
Non-MCC.
actually vote on even the MCC money, setting some of that aside for other things other than grants.
So technically, 75%, there's a lot of like rules around this, but 75% of the MCC money
Has
must
to be
be
used for
spent on
grants.
grants.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the rest of it, there's 20% of it can be spent on something called a council project. That could be a mural, that could be
A street fair, it could be
Okay.
a musical
a
that the town
film
puts on.
screening. That
Things
could-
that
we
the
initiate.
council are, right,
That's right,
promoting. and-
Exactly,
Okay.
that we initiate.
Okay.
So we could technically, as a council, vote and say, we would like to spend the MCC money on such and such a project.
Correct.
The town money doesn't have such strictures, so generally we spend a certain amount of money on grants. And then we can choose to reserve a certain amount of money for council projects such as public art projects.
Okay. none of the money that comes from the town is going to these MCC grants.
No, a lot of it does go to the grants. But we are free to choose how we use that money. When we wanted to use money for the mural
Yeah.
that we did on Chapel Street,
Mhm.
we took, I think it was $7,500 or $8,000 from the town money for that mural.
Right, but that wasn't
But
part
that's-
of the MCC grant.
No,
That's what I'm trying to
They're separate.
differentiate.
they're separate.
pots.
They're totally
Right,
separate.
okay,
But the money that went for the mural didn't come from MCC money, it came from town money.
right, right.
It's really.
that make it clearer?
confusing And
That's what she
Yeah.
said.
No, that's,
Yeah, okay.
that's why I understood, but
Yes.
it wasn't clear to me, I understand that.
no,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Okay.
These are
Yeah.
really, really important questions and it's
And they're
really
great
great that you're
questions.
asking them because I feel like a lot of people are confused about that. I was confused for my entire first year and was too afraid to ask. So it's really good that you're asking these questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that what you might be after, which was one of the things that I had said I wanted to add something, was a number 3, arts and culture programming. The NCAC will enliven and beautify the town with engaging works of public art and activities that connect the community to art and culture. And my feeling was the word activities is kind of, and maybe we need another bullet point there that focuses on more specific things
Are you
like,
the objectives now? I was on the priorities.
oh, okay, well, this is the going to the objectives,
That's okay.
which would then do what you said, which would,
Mhm.
you know, events, street fairs, musicals, whatever kinds of things, performing arts that would benefit and create a cohesion within the town.
I think there's also another component of like attracting large crowds, like being very
Correct.
accessible, like in town commons, in more open space, right? That
Mhm.
everyone can just walk by and participate. I think it's more like probably something we have to keep in mind when we evaluate the grants and be like, where is it being hosted? And historically, if this event was granted before, like how many participants we had before, right? I think those are probably the criterias that we can keep in mind to ensure that whatever events that get the grants could benefit like a larger.
Well, the only
this
thing,
goes-
hold on one second, I'm sorry. The only thing,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry to like, but, the only thing is, the size of the population that's served by the event isn't necessarily,
A large population.
it doesn't
Right,
necessarily.
yeah, it could be.
That doesn't
yeah.
necessarily
It could be a
mean that's
could be a-
of more public benefit, like
It could be
a Zoom,
right,
right,
yeah.
like, for example, the, what is the thing we do every year? The plugged in doesn't serve a huge population. It's, basically they do music classes and open mics, but it's a very targeted population. It's a very small group of people who are benefiting from it, but it's a wonderful
It's a great
benefit.
program.
And it's, it's
Yeah.
serving an underserved group, but it's not a huge number. So I worry about adding that kind of language into our objectives.
Oh, no, yeah, not adding any language, but like something that when we like evaluate, keep in mind, but you're right, I mean, there's some very targeted events, but maybe. If we talk about open studio, like multicultural festivals, events like that, then we could have something like that in mind.
But this, what I had in mind, and maybe I think you do too, but I'm not. I was going beyond the grants and using some of the town money for the kinds of events that would attract the town as a whole, you know, and create an event like that. And, you know, something, I mean, just out of the top of my head, Newton Highlands does their street fair on Lincoln Street every year. And that brings out a huge number of people. I grew up on that street. That was my elementary school. So I know that street really well. And it's nice to go there and bump into somebody. Do you remember when this was Brigham's and that was this and this was the 5 and 10 Woolworths? And so I think that's the kind of thing that Abby and I have spoken about
Mhm.
wanting to do with the money that's not earmarked for grants.
Oh, okay.
Sounds
So it's like a
great.
separate, yeah.
So, and we'll be talking about that later,
Yeah.
but it could be something that we put on objectives
Mhm.
in kind of non-specific language, if somebody is good with words. And, and do that kind of thing. I think the priorities,
So I have, maybe what we can do, this is probably an incredibly simple suggestion, but under number 3, like Joni was saying, of the objectives, it says NCAC will enliven and beautify the town with engaging works of public art and activities that connect the community to arts and culture. Maybe we could say to arts and culture and to each other. Is that too simple?
No.
I was thinking of just
Does,
breaking it
it
up.
does say connect the community though, so it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it feels a little redundant.
I
But
think
you could
that,
reword it where it just, you could reword it in a way where you highlight the connection part more, but.
Yeah.
if we
does-
just stop at NCAC will enliven and beautify the town with engaging works of public art,
But
period.
this is we don't have to have the objectives voted on, so we can. I believe
On the
technically
28th.
it's more the priorities that has to get posted.
That's right, the
so-
priorities have to be posted, not the
They
objective.
both have to do that.
And
Okay.
also the other thing to keep in mind is that when you look at the grant evaluation criteria, that also will say, it hints at that, how many people is this, how many people is this benefiting? Not, and again, I know this is already stated, but it doesn't have to be a huge amount of people. It can also be,
Mhm.
a program for a limited amount of people. You just have to weigh it out. It's not a science though, for sure.
It's a, right.
It would be nice if it was, but it's not. So.
Yeah, it's both.
Yeah, we need both.
But I think that I think the priorities are fine. I think that that's not where we need to tweak. I think the tweaking is that number 3. I think the priorities are pretty good. Did you want to, I mean, I looked at something like, I thought about something like the venue and the date should be clear, but you know what? It's never, it rarely is.
Yeah, it's hard.
And so I think we need to leave that off and just,
The only catch here's the thing, I think if we leave that part off, then we can't really talk about that when we assess grants, because I feel like we consistently, when we assess grants, say, but they don't have a date and they don't have a venue and they don't have a time. And that's very unfair to the grantees.
right,
to
but
be
we
assessing
can,
it
we
when-
can write
when
in
they
the
don't
letter,
know.
we can state that it is, priority will be given to grants that have venues and dates.
Shouldn't we put that in the priorities? I feel like that should be in the priorities.
Say it again, please.
So I'm proposing, since we very predictably say when we evaluate grants, that we're looking for grants with a specified time, date, and venue, that we should add that into our priorities, because then people who are applying for grants will have access to that information, because I feel
Time,
like it's very
venue.
unfair to
Right.
grant applicants that they don't know that that's the conversation we're having behind closed doors. I feel like transparency is
Should
very
be.
important.
Front and center.
So I feel like it should be. I feel like we need
It's
to have.
on the form, right?
It is on the form.
Well, it's very difficult every year. And some of the grantees don't even do. They don't even do. Like the Mosaic woman from 2 years ago. I don't think she ever did it.
No, she didn't.
She didn't.
Right,
Yeah.
so, and we keep badgering them to give us a date, give us a venue, and they don't. I
It's
think it's
inevitably you're gonna have one that happens to. Again, I don't think that happens a lot. It's frustrating when it does.
Right.
But
I had a last year I can tell you right now that grant is not going to happen.
Yeah, we usually have
happen.
one a year.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think a lot of them don't have. to
I
run.
feel,
They
I
have to
I feel like
value
it's,
them
I feel
until
like
they
it
get-
happens at least once a year.
But given that
Several.
if they don't have the grants, it's hard for them to decide on the menus and the.
I feel like if they
You're
know
right.
that that's something
That's
they
part
need
of the
to do,
problem.
then they will line it up. I
Then they
feel like
can
it's
find
something
out
that
how
they
they
will
can do it.
try.
But they need to, it's circuitous. They need to know they have the money before they
Yeah,
get
they
a
can
venue.
schedule all this.
And we want them to have a venue and then say, sorry, we're still not gonna give you the money because of another criteria that wasn't met.
Well, then
And
okay,
that's a difficult position to put them in. I'd say 85%, Heather, come in with the venues.
Yeah,
we do that
I couldn't
online?
give it, but I.
A large
I think
percent.
the venue is really the thing to highlight more than the date, because it
Yeah.
becomes very frustrating when someone. You
That's
follow
fine
up and you're like, do you have a venue? And they're like, no, because I think
Yeah.
I don't think I think it's easier to get a venue than
It's easy to get,
The
I mean, it's easy enough to get, to
Can
make
come
arrangements. Can we use you as a venue?
right,
You don't have to have a date there.
right.
Right. I mean, we have priority is given to high quality, achievable and flexible applications.
That's fine, but
And we
that's
could
very
say,
vague.
that's right, but we could also say, priority is given to high quality, achievable and flexible applications that have secured a venue
Can we?
and
not
must
say
align
I
with
think
the
that could just be a separate thing, applicants that have secured a venue.
Okay,
Can we say planned? Cause I mean, secure means that they have already.
Right,
like, booked
okay, so
it.
planned.
Plan would be more fair.
So I'm just gonna count.
good,
Point
good,
down.
good.
My little group, the student theater, they didn't have a venue and they didn't have a date. They eventually did have a venue and a date, which,
It's like
you know,
that's how
I
it
kept
happens.
asking them, you know, how are you doing? Where are you? And they did have a date, and I think the venue was partially dependent upon the date and the date partially dependent on the venue.
Right.
But they did, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'll just say it was a really
Yeah.
great weekend production. It was wonderful. So I'm gonna say that I'm really proud of us for supporting them. They are the Needham Student Theater. They did a great job. And they gave us a huge shout out. They were really, really excited to have us, and it was wonderful. And they didn't have anything like that yet because they were kids trying to organize this
Yeah.
thing. And it took them a while to find the venue and the date and plan it. So there's something to be said for that side too.
I do know that, I know the president of the Wellesley cultural group, I forget their specific name, they deal with exactly the same thing. They deal with more, so they deal with people who don't ever do them, they deal with many more than we do, they get more money, and they deal with, you know, scrabbling for dates and venues. But when I asked her, you know, what percentage don't do it, she said, if we give out 50 grants a year, we have 3 to 5 that don't do it. That's a higher percentage than we have. So I agree with, in an ideal world, you're absolutely right. But you're right too, in that they need the security of knowing they're gonna get the money before they go and secure a place and create a date. I think most of our artists really wanna do their performances and get this money. And I think strangling them a little bit more is, that's a wrong word, but I'm tired, is a little difficult. It's a little,
Then I think we
It's
have two
hard.
choices. I
It's
think
hard.
we either let them know what we're talking about, or we simply leave it out of the conversation because.
So should we bring this to a vote now? Cause maybe we should, do you guys wanna vote on it? If you wanna add this or not?
I don't think we need to add it as a regulation, but we can say we prefer proposals that include.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right, that language is.
Yeah, that's.
yeah,
That language is agreeable, but so I'm proposing that we add to our priorities that programs that how should we state it? We
I'd like to-
prefer programs
proposals to include.
No, just
That-
where it says submissions, just put submissions that include a venue. The date they'll figure out with the venue.
Yeah.
You wanna
But-
say include or have secured a venue?
Well,
No, I don't think
secured, no, I'm
No,
sorry,
no.
that
Planned
include
one.
include a proposed venue.
So what I wrote down is, prioritize submissions that include a venue. Is that agreeable to everyone?
When you
Say
say,
it
let me
again.
ask
Is
what
that
that
what you
means.
said, Ron?
What does that mean when you say prioritize
No, what
it?
she said.
Because
Mm-mm.
does that mean
No.
Prioritize
that
for
the,
what?
that the applicants that don't have a venue will be less likely to get funded, that we're gonna prioritize it? Like, what do you mean by prioritize it? Cause the student theater
Puts
wouldn't
it
have
to
had a
the top
venue,
of the list,
so I don't
kind
want
of.
them to lose
let's
out.
strike that.
Yeah, don't
I
want
think,
that.
let's just not put it in there, because then at the end, like, when we discuss something like the student theater, be like, oh, they don't have a venue.
Right,
So
and look
we
how
like,
good they
are we
were.
gonna put them in the background? Yeah, and then we start having arguments about it. I
Maybe
feel
we
like
should-
we may.
But the
so.
problem that I have is that we do it anyway. What I'm proposing is that we put it somewhere on our criteria, so at least it shows up on our rubric, and then we can include it when we talk about it formally, and the people who are,
So it's in the application, is it
I-
in their
so
application?
they see this.
It's
Like
in their-
people who apply for grants will see all this.
Mhm.
So what they're not seeing right now is that we're having the discussion, oh,
Right.
they don't have a venue. And then we'd say, okay,
We're not
next,
gonna skip
so
No, we don't
that's,
wanna do that.
that's what
No,
we don't wanna
we
do that.
don't.
Yeah, we
No.
don't.
Maybe we say, we,
Urge you,
encourage
Yeah.
encourage.
you to be diligent in in
securing
locating
A time and place.
a venue, a date. Just to push them along.
That's right,
So say it
from the
again,
very
Wendy.
beginning.
We encourage you to, what did I say?
Can I, could we say something like, if you, if you do not have a venue, we need an explanation of your
We need
plan
to help
for
you.
venue?
Well, you need
So
to
that we know.
No,
that
we're
there-
not helping anybody do that.
And we're looking, if you don't have a venue, what's your plan?
Yeah.
So that we, so then
there
we don't have to
that they
talk about
think
it.
about
We don't
it.
have to make it
Yeah.
like, we don't wanna waste time on it. They have a plan for a venue, their plan is X, and now I'm student theater, and I'm gonna follow up with my contact to say,
Well,
hey, your
it's
plan
worked.
was X, how are you doing?
It's worked so far.
Okay,
We haven't had a problem with someone not able to find a location.
Right,
we have,
And then, I know, but then
Yeah.
they don't get the grant.
well, they have gotten the grant, and then we end up having to hang on to their money for 12 months, and then we.
yeah, but that was when we were
They don't
prepaying.
Use the funds.
No,
It's
I'm
not
saying-
reimbursement.
Right.
I think it's, Jean has great, I think if they can explain the plan for
Mhm.
the venue, I think that should be in.
They all
enough
should
for-
have a plan.
Yeah.
Right,
It
they
should be
should-
part of the
Yeah,
application
it's
that
a
MCC
thinking, yeah.
puts out. The application belongs to MCC,
Yeah.
and they should. Cause every city in town goes through this.
So I have encouraged applicants to have a plan in place for a
They
venue.
should have a
Yep.
plan, right?
Yep.
They either
Right.
have a venue or they have a plan.
Have a
for a
plan
venue.
or a venue.
One or
How's
the
that?
other.
Yeah,
I think that's.
Is
great.
that-
we
that-
can do that, we can do that in the open house. Um,
Not that many people come to the open house.
this is true. What did we get, 4 last year,
I
3?
think
I mean,
About
I'm kind of prefer to leave it alone just because I don't think it's really been that much of a problem in the past. I think we've had one person I can think of from, I think, there was one person that had a family situation that prevented them, I think. My memory's not gonna be so great for going back that many years, but I don't think it's really hurt us so far. And also the application asks if you have a venue and a date. So it's kind of there
Wonderful.
anyway, but if somebody
But
just,
there-
but I also think we can vote on it. So that's my,
The other thing is that when you get your grants, if you have an application that doesn't have a date and a venue, you can call them and say, what are your ideas for a date and a venue?
that's what we do. That is
Yeah.
what the follow-up is about.
Phone calls when we get the applications, if we have questions.
Wendy, I'm sorry, you had something to say.
I think, the difference between leaving it alone and using the word encourage. it sounds like a priority that they should get going on finding a venue.
Mhm.
I think it's okay to give them a little push. I'm
Yeah,
not saying you
it
have
doesn't
to
mean
have.
that if they don't have a venue, we're gonna cut them
Right.
off, but
That's
it
right.
helps to get them thinking and
That's
filter
right.
out those that are
I
just
think it's a little-
loosey-goosey, whatever, I just throw an idea out.
Right.
Those kind of like not serious.
I agree with Jean,
Applications.
I
Right.
agree with your wording.
So let's take a vote.
Okay.
So,
You wanna read it again?
Yeah.
the
read it
word,
one
the
more
word, the wording that we had, spoken about, and please tell me if you have corrections or additions, was encourage applicants to have a plan in place for a venue. So, all in favor of adding that to our priorities? Oh, I have to do it by roll call, sorry.
And we don't have to make it a bullet point. We can just put it a line at the bottom. We encourage all applicants to have a plan,
To either have a
to
venue
either have a
or
plan,
a plan.
right, to either
One
have
or
a
the other.
venue or have a
We did
plan.
agree on the wording
Yeah.
before we vote,
So they
so,
should either have a venue or
Right.
plan for a venue.
The plan for a venue.
Yeah.
Yes, make it specific.
Can I add something? I'm new, I don't know before.
absolutely.
So to me, we have to prioritize based on the quality, achievability, and flexibility.
Yeah.
To me, the venue and date, it's basically an indicator, a main indicator for achievability. So maybe we just ask, if you don't have a date and venue, explain how you're gonna achieve your activity by such and such a date. Which is same
Which is-
as,
Right,
you need
We
to have a plan,
encourage.
even though it hasn't been ironed out yet,
right.
but what's your plan? You have,
We
they have
encourage
to prove
applicants.
that they can achieve
Yes.
what they.
I think they can't have a deadline, though. The
No,
deadline is what is too restrictive.
Yeah, they go
You
together.
just,
there's no there's no
Yeah.
deadline.
but
Because
just, you just said that they should have it by so and so a date. I don't.
Because the grant has a cycle, if they don't.
Can I jump in for a minute?
Go ahead, Steve.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I think we're creating a solution when we don't have a problem. It's getting very wordy. We've spent a lot of time on this. I think just by a few words, it's starting to get too wordy, and I think too much. Just my opinion. A simple line about about having a plan for a venue. That's all we need. About it, because until they get the money, we should not try to make them have a venue.
Right, they can't. A lot of them
can't.
can't.
Again,
all.
that's the whole, that's part of why we switched to reimbursement too.
Yeah.
That's
It's,
right.
it's safer.
Thank you.
So why don't we vote?
Okay, so I'm
Just-
gonna go back to the original wording that we had.
Yeah, we encourage applicants.
We encourage applicants to have a plan in place for a venue.
Right.
So I'm gonna,
That gets the
Um,
job done.
Yep,
okay, great, Steve, thank you. That was really, I think it was great. All right, so I'm gonna vote yes. Kavita, are you still with us? Not with
No,
us.
she
Okay.
had to leave. She had to
Okay, that's
leave.
fine. Steve, your
Yes.
vote? Yes,
Yes.
okay, mine is not here. Jean?
Yes.
Yes. Sean?
Yes.
Yes. Tracy?
Yes.
Yes. Christine? Not
She's
here.
not here.
She was
Left it.
here. Okay.
She's, hold on.
Christine, are you there?
Can I just have your vote?
Yeah,
my
she
dear?
voted. Her hand is
Oh,
up.
her hand is up. Thank you. Rana?
Hi, Christine.
Yes. Joni?
Yes.
Yes. Wendy?
Yes.
Sheila?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Heather?
Yes.
Wenley?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
unanimous.
Simple and
Perfect.
easy.
All right, excellent. Were there any more additions or corrections to the priorities and objectives before we move on?
Just the dates. That's it. You gotta put in the right date for Harvest Fair, but that can just be done. I think
Yeah,
it's,
I figured I'd do that after.
yeah.
So, okay, great.
What is the date for Harvest Fair?
The date for the Harvest Fair, and we'll talk about that next time, because I feel like
Right.
we have to move on. It is October 5th from
Oh,
11 AM to 3 PM. We will talk about it next time. I will get all the
We
volunteers.
need volunteers
Yeah.
for that day.
But we will
For
talk,
2-hour shifts to man the table.
I'll put it on your
We'll tell you
calendar.
all about what it is.
Okay.
We need a quartet at the booth.
Oh, of course
Um,
we do.
yeah.
Okay.
That
I'll
would
bring
be,
a quartet.
that would be great.
Okay.
Okay, great. All right, very quickly, we're gonna talk about one more thing, and then I think you guys deserve to go home. Council project. So we've been in touch with the owner of do you guys know the Supercuts building on Highland Avenue?
Yep.
Very cool site.
Yeah.
So he's eager to get the process started on a mural there.
right, I
Great site because of visibility. We've had our eye on it forever. He has agreed to pay up to $7,500 toward a mural, and
Alright.
Joni is going to tell us about the rest.
Wow.
Yeah, he contacted me. He really wants to get a mural up and he wanted to know if we could do it, you know, like in 2 weeks. And he really thought it was. And I said, well, I'm known to rush things, but I'm not sure I can be that magical. The mural is approximately the same size as the Chapel Street. It's shaped a little differently, 37 by 14 feet instead of 40 something by 11 feet. And the wall was just painted. It's beautiful, white, and it's a perfect place. So they are willing to match us up to $7,500, which gives us a budget of $15,000, which also retains some money from the town money for us to use for town projects, and I'll mention that in a minute. His only request is that he be kept in the loop, that he see the applicant's work, and that he see the finalists, and that he put in his one vote for the final project. And he understands that it may not be the choice, but as long as there's nothing offensive, then he's fine with it. So he wants nothing political, nothing
course.
Sexual.
you know. Although that might be
We
fun.
wouldn't do it.
But he also, what?
Does he have a name?
Yes, his name is Avi Shas, and his,
David Grossman is.
and
the
David
owner.
Grossman is the owner of the Grossman company that owns that whole plaza. The other thing that he said is he understands the historical nature of the last 2 murals. He does not want a historical mural. He wants something that represents Needham today.
That's
Because
fair.
he doesn't want to have to explain.
Yep.
He says he goes by the murals, it's, what do pansies mean? And I explained, and what is this thing with the knitting and the bird? And I explained. So I understand, and I definitely agree with that. The other suggestion that I made, because the wall has 2 sections, one is flat and then one is all brick. So I said, why don't we put up an art box that could be, you know, weatherproof art box, they have them. And we could showcase kids' art throughout the year from the high school. He wanted kids painting with the artist. He wanted kids on the committee. He wants kids on our council. He's very interested in having children represented and them having a voice, which is fine. And I told him we would definitely have a student recommended by the art teacher on the subcommittee, as we did for the Pansy.
I have a question. Where is the brick part of the wall? Is it the same side as the
It's the
mural?
same wall. It's the same part of the wall, but it's closer to Supercuts than it is to Mathnasium.
Sounds like a
Mathnasium,
very busy visual to me, but that's
it's so
another.
big, and there's also a sign that would break it up. So you have another 10 feet of brick wall that's empty
And it's painted white.
and painted white.
What do you mean there's a sign that breaks it up?
There's a sign, there's this big wall that's actually 47 feet long.
37.
No, 37 is where the mural would be.
Yeah.
Then there's this sign that is like 4 feet away that tells you that what's there, Supercuts and da-da-da. Then there's 10 feet of brick wall that's painted white, that has nothing on it, and he wanted something on it. He
Oh.
thought maybe there could be 2 murals. I said, you really can't put two separate murals, but you could put an art box that could showcase and change maybe.
This sounds
4
like the
years.
artist's idea, like this isn't really, I don't know, cause I don't know, this maybe is a discussion when we get more to the mural, but
But he's gonna pay for the art box. He's gonna do it.
That's
Yeah.
a separate 7,500.
He's separate from the 7,500.
it
He's
sounds,
gonna pay.
it's, okay. It sounds like it would be very busy, a very busy
Yeah.
visual.
You gotta see it. I thought so too, but if you look at it, because of the way the sign is,
So why don't we all do that
I
as our
don't,
homework? is to go
yeah,
Look at it.
I don't think that it's,
Take pictures and bring it in.
yeah, the sign,
Mhm.
doesn't really.
The art box doesn't have to take.
And
up
it's
the
not
whole
gonna
wall.
take up the whole 10
So
feet
if
of
there's-
wall
if
space.
there's
It would
the
be
border-
closer
white
to
border
the
around it,
edge.
is-
It would be closer to the end and it would look very separate.
Yeah.
I think we
So
should
in
go.
addition to.
Anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Would there be any action items other than going and take some pictures and for future discussions for us?
Well, there is, because we have to
Yes.
vote
Okay.
on this, but then the other thing is that in talking to several people over the past 3 months in 4 months in Needham, one of the things, and that came out from the question, the survey. Thank you. It's late. Was looking for an event in town to solidify, and I suggested something last year. And have talked to other people about it, people in town who have some money and who have some influence and who have some willingness to sponsor. And the things that they came up with, separate from what Abby found out, because I hadn't seen it, was they would love to see something like, and I named this over lunch with something, like Needham's Got Talent. And do a townwide talent show, see if we could get Powers Hall. The other thing is to do a street fair where we close off part of Great Plain Ave for a Sunday afternoon and have performances from the dancing kids and the singing kids and the band kids and also have people sell their arts and their clothing and all kinds of stuff like that, and have the restaurants bring their food because the street is long enough to do all that kind of thing. I have people in town who are willing to work on it, and I think that with some of the money, if we use 7,500, that gives us 2,500 left over from the 10,000 extra that the town gives us beyond the 8,300. So while we are taking some grant money away this year, we were very generous last year. And I think we should do something for our town the way that other towns do things for their town. Wellesley has a street fair. Newton has one, has several. Dedham has something. Other towns do have, I think Sharon has a townwide talent
This
show.
is, sorry, this is something that would require a lot more money, I have a feeling. Number one. Number two, there are grants for town festivals that are separate and also
They're
through the
separate.
MCC. So I think that might be something
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, we would have about $2,500. We do have some businesses in town that might be willing to sponsor. I know that one already has said it's a great idea. I'd love to work on it. Let me know when you're ready. And there
Who
are
said-
grants that do this. What?
I'm just curious who said they would jump in
Can't
with it.
say yet. I was asked not to say anything yet
Mhm.
until it's more.
Mhm.
But I think that while we do a lot of stuff in the town with the cultural thing and the grants,
So this is,
this is something a little different, and I think we should think about it for next fall or maybe in the spring. But I think that we have two separate ideas. One is to fund the mural for $7,500 and then start the process of the RFP and that whole thing all over again.
So I think my suggestion, given the hour, is let's focus on the mural.
Yeah.
And I think let's have that discussion, which I think is fantastic. I think let's talk about that at our next meeting. So what we need to do is talk about, this guy, the owner of the building is ready to move on this
Yeah,
mural
David.
if we are.
Mhm.
So what we need to do is simply have a vote to, put aside money and how much money we want to put aside. If we want to move ahead with a public art project such as this mural. And then, we also, if we decide to do that, if we want to set up a subcommittee to be in charge of getting this mural started.
Do we have to do those things today? Like vote on those things today?
So the only reason I would say yes is because of the timeline this gentleman presented us with.
When does he want to get?
He would
He
love
wants
it
to
to
get
be in by
started.
Thanksgiving.
He wants it to be up by like the end of November. So.
Well, and they can't paint it much after that.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
So that's why he was waiting for us to have this meeting to vote on whether or not we're gonna move ahead with putting funding aside. So I'm just gonna put it to the vote, whether or not we would like to even put aside.
One more, how much money we granted for the, Chapel Street mural?
That's a great question.
Get
So
an
the
idea.
Chapel Street mural was, similar size. It was $7,000. And then we had $900 in honorarium for each of, it was, $300 for each of
Three
three
finalists,
artists,
the three
who
finalists.
submitted final designs.
And then we gave her another 2,000 for the wraparound that
But
she
that-
did,
that's-
which was separate.
That's totally
What
separate.
about the event that, when it was dedicated or whatever?
That was
was
very inexpensive.
Yeah, we
So
just-
we pretty much
we
covered the cost.
covered it ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
So if we vote yes tonight, does it affect us from looking at the space and deciding whether we want to use the brick area or not?
He doesn't want us to use the brick area for the mural.
All right, so then that,
He
But
wants.
that's a separate thing. That's not.
Separate.
Yeah, it's a separate
time,
discussion.
and that's also
I didn't know
not
if it was wrapped up in the
beholden
same deal.
to.
Okay.
And that's not
the
under our
time
budget,
frame. So I'm just gonna.
but I
put it-
just wanted to
Okay.
visualize the,
I would just put it to the vote whether or not we even wanna move forward with this project as a group, so,
I vote,
oh, sorry.
oh, you have to do it.
I have to do the roll call.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
so.
This is a vote just to go forward with this?
Just to
Yeah.
go forward with it, and then we're gonna do a second vote for how much to set aside, and then we're gonna set up a subcommittee if we decide to move forward. So, if we wanna move forward, I vote yes. Kavita's not here. Steve? Yep,
Yes.
okay. Jean?
Yes.
Yes. Sean?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, Tracy?
Yes.
Yes. Christine's not here. Oh, Christine is here. Christine's not here. Okay, Rana?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, Joni?
yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
Sheila?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
Wenley?
I.
Okay. Perfect. So we're gonna move.
I
forward.
know.
So, very quickly, we can discuss how much we would want to reserve for this particular project. He's going to contribute up to $7,500. The town, gave us 18,300, in the past. That's our allocation for the year. In the past, the town has given us 8,300, so the 10,000 is kind of a surplus. We've used that surplus for public art projects such as, the mural on
murals.
Chapel Street in the past. It's kind of a recent bonus. The town, did that again for us this year, so we have that surplus to work with.
It's actually, I remember, sorry to interrupt. But I remember last year, JP would say, you don't have to break it up, just consider it the whole amount to use at our discretion.
Right.
So you don't have to think of it like, it's just what they're giving us. So I'm
Right.
sorry.
No, it's good information. Thanks,
helps.
Heather. That does help.
So are we thinking that the whole project is something like $7,000 to $10,000? Is that how do we know if the
I
last one
think
was
because of the height, it's gonna require scaffolding, which the one on Chapel Street did not require, which brings the cost to the artist up.
So what do we
What's
think?
the height?
So he'll
14 feet.
supply up to 7,500,
As a
assuming that we're providing the other
Matching.
7,500.
So should we match it?
I think that we could
That's-
go up to,
That's what we
had talked
so
about.
we can say up to
Yeah.
in a vote, and we don't necessarily need to spend that amount.
Right.
I think
Um,
that makes sense.
So that's what I was gonna propose
So
that we
basically,
do.
we're talking about 15,000.
No, we're
No,
talking, no,
Just
only,
our share.
our share is only
I don't want to
7,500,
say total.
right,
Up to,
right,
up to.
Yes,
right.
and he is going to contribute 7,500. We would then contribute up to 7,500 depending on.
Right, it would be
that.
matching, if we ended up at 6,200, he'd pay 6,200.
Split, right, got it, got it.
So
So-
will we be getting more, people entering whatever, if the price is higher? I mean, if the amount is
I
higher?
think the
Yeah.
quality of the work will also be better.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
typically the quality of the work will be better if you have a fair sum
Yeah.
that you're working with.
The last,
So-
the last one we did, she was fabulous.
She was
wasn't-
We lucked out,
Yeah.
we
Really
lucked
lucked
out.
out with her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't know, this great.
yeah.
She looks like a movie star too.
And
You're not wrong.
so,
So,
yes, the more you offer, the more artists will apply.
Right, okay.
And the better quality of artists will apply. When we did the first one, we got really renowned muralists applying. But we were looking at $14,000.
Okay.
We can look at 15,000.
Yeah, we can, but we still need money for the honorariums for the finalists. And we have to also,
I will
So
discuss
should
it
we
with
put a
Jerry,
vote?
too.
Yeah, should we put a vote?
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that to a vote. I vote yes for up to $7,500 reserve. Steve?
Yes, and can I also just suggest, I'm looking at Google Maps right now of the site, that before our next meeting, we all drive by and take a look at it, because the brick
Yes.
is quite a
that.
factor. It's,
We
it
did
could be, it
discuss
could be
that.
intrusive. Okay. Not saying it's a problem, but we should all look at it. But yes,
It's all white. I drove by it before on the way in.
right,
Yeah.
but
totally
it's,
white.
but separate.
The Google map might be older.
Oh, it is older. I know it is.
Yeah, it's bright white now. And
They just freshly prepped and painted the wall. But it's still a really good idea for us. Yes, please, thank you.
Slow down, yes.
I thought I took. a
All right,
picture
sorry,
of
guys.
it, But I did not.
Jean?
Yes.
Okay, Sean?
Yes.
Tracy?
Yes.
Rana?
Yeah.
Joni?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
Sheila?
I,
Heather?
Yes.
I love that.
Wendy?
Yes.
Okay, we'll set up the subcommittee next time.
Yeah.
All right.
Anybody want to be in the subcommittee?
maybe.
We'll work on it next time.
I just,
He's already 2 hours.
All right. Can
Can
I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I
please?
move we adjourn.
Okay,
I second.
second, all right, meeting adjourned. Thank you. I'm sorry. It was very long.
Good
My bedtime.
Excellent job.